everyone. My name is Lindsay, and we are here together for our Monday Stretch and Unwind. I am once again outside at the lovely lake this time. So, bringing this practice outside, hopefully, everybody can just enjoy the view behind me a little bit. I think you can see the lake kind of off there in the back. It's quite blue today. So, that is Lake Huron behind me. And happy to be here so that we can enjoy this view together. Go ahead and get yourself comfortable in your chair. Now, I'm using a rather kind of an old antique chair today. So just to remind you that any chair works, whatever chair you're in is the perfect spot. And then we will start to just shift our weight side to side. And we do this as we bring our attention into our physical body, into all the places of our body that are making contact with a surface. So thinking here as we shift side to side about how the seat beneath us feels and supports us. And then let's find our way into our center. And so our center can feel different from day to day. But when we talk about centering, we're thinking about the alignment of our spine, or perhaps just that energetic center where we feel most balanced from left to right. So settle in here, maybe giving your feet and toes a little wiggle, bringing your attention into the feet, and then settle the feet down on the floor, noticing your feet on the floor, perhaps even going a little deeper than the floor, and thinking about your feet resting on the earth. Notice the backs of your legs where they may be connected or making contact with the chair. Good. Noticing under your bottom where you are being supported by the seat, by the chair. Feel yourself being held here. And then, of course, if you are leaning back in your chair, noticing where the contact is in the back of your body. Take a deep breath here and just allow yourself to settle in. Our breath is like our superpower. We can use it anytime our energy feels unsettled, anytime we are facing or experiencing any kind of discomfort, emotionally or physically. We've always been told all our lives, take a deep breath, but here's where we can really start to feel the way the nervous system settles, the way the thoughts perhaps start to quiet down and soften. We'll do that again. A big breath in through the nose, and then maybe a sighing breath on the way out. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Big breath in through the nose, and a nice big sighing breath all the way out. Returning to the natural rhythm here of your breath now. Beautiful. Letting your breath be your guide. Letting it sort of drive the boat, so to speak. Beautiful. Let's bring our hand, one hand to our heart, the other hand to our belly. And here we'll take a nice big breath right into that belly area. And then exhale, letting it go. This time, let's inhale, filling up the belly with air, and the low ribs might start to lift. Beautiful, letting it go. Release. Another big breath here, filling up the belly with breath. The low ribs all the way into the top hand of the upper chest. And then exhale slowly back as you came. Continue to breathe into the belly, ribs, and chest. And then exhale to release. 3-part breath. Focusing on a nice smooth exhalation as we release. Beautiful. Couple more. Kind of rolling breath in, rolling breath out. Nice and even. One more time. All the way in and exhaling all the way out. Beautiful. Letting the hands float down here to our thighs, to our lap. And we'll find our mountain pose here. So rolling the shoulders up towards the ears, back, down, and away. Beautiful. So this is our ready position. And for this practice today, I want to invite in a little affirmation. We've been working on this affirmation this week in our day programs. And it's just a little reminder that when we face challenging times, when we face stressful moments in our life, as we are, of course, going to, this is just a little mantra or affirmation we can keep in our pocket to remind ourselves that even though things can be hard, we can do hard things. That was written on the board outside my kids' school when it was COVID times, and I've always kept it in my mind. So let's go ahead and bring our palms together, rubbing palms either against the other palm, or you can bring it against your thigh to find some warmth in one hand. And once you've got that energy there, we can place our palms over our eyes and repeat our affirmation either out loud or in a whisper to ourselves. Big breath in. And here we go. I can do hard things. Let it go. Good. Another breath in through the nose. And repeating, I can do hard things. Let's make this a little bit of a community affirmation now. Big breath all the way in. And this time we'll just say, we can do hard things. We can do hard things. Good. Letting the hands float down to the knees. Find that mountain pose once again. And then this time just keep those shoulder rolls going. Noticing where you might tend to hold tension in the body. So some of us hold tension naturally in the shoulders. So this might already start to feel like maybe a little sore in the shoulders, in the upper trap muscles. So just noticing if that's where you may hold on to that kind of invisible tension. Good. Let's pause the shoulder rolls, coming back into mountain pose. Another little check in with the face. So some of us hold tension through the jaw. So just let the jaw hang a little heavily here. Maybe even letting that low jaw shift left to right. Separating from the upper teeth. Let it hang heavily. Good. And then perhaps you are someone who holds tension in that space between the eyebrows with a furrowing of the eyebrows. And if that's you, just imagining that space between the eyebrows melting across the forehead, across to the temples, down the sides of the face. Nice big breath here. Exhale and soften. Beautiful. Another big roll of the shoulders. Good. And then finding your way into our mountain pose, we're going to start working through the neck a little bit. So turning our head towards the right side. Pause here for a moment for a breath. Good. And then as we exhale, we can take our head across through center over to the left side. Big breath in and out. Good. This time, can we drop our chin down to our chest and bring the chin across the chest, over back to the first side, looking over the right shoulder. A little pulse here and just pausing to notice how the neck feels today. So we're easing into our practice. And then finally bringing chin back across through the chest, looking over the left shoulder. Nice full breath in. Exhaling, come on back to center. Nicely done. Mountain pose, reminding you this is our reset. So every time we come back to mountain pose, we're just resetting the energy and the body and the alignment, finding our center once again. Beautiful. Let's take the right ear now and tip it over to the right shoulder, noticing the left shoulder if it wants to sort of lift up with it. Just see if we can kind of coax it down as we tip our right ear over. And then adding on as an option, we might turn the head down towards the floor. We might reach the left fingertips down towards the floor, creating a nice long line. Just some different sensations through the side of the neck. Big breath in. And then exhale, come on back to center. Everything back to center. Reset through mountain pose. Lovely. And then we'll tip the left ear over to the left shoulder. Again, reminding you the right shoulder might want to come up. So just coax it down, draw it back down. And then maybe we change the angle by turning our head towards the floor and or reaching our right fingertips down and away from us. Good, noticing that. Stretch through the side of our neck, a little lateral movement for the neck. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, bring it all back to center, mountain pose to reset. Wonderful, everyone. Beautiful work. Let's take the arms and we'll reach them out in front of us. So reaching through the fingertips. Once again, just drop the shoulders a little bit here. Loosen up the tension there that often creeps up without realizing. And then we'll bring the fingertips towards the shoulders. Good. A bend of the elbow here. Inhale to extend the arms. Lovely work. And exhale to flex the arms, bending at the elbow. Nice. With your breath. So your breath being the guide, you move in sync with your breath rather than trying to speed your breath up or slow it down. Just seeing if we can match the movement to the breath. Good. Inhale, long and extend. Exhale, touching the shoulders. One more time, one more extension of the arms. Good work. And then we'll bring the fingertips back to the shoulders and we'll hold here. We're going to find a little helicopter arm with our hand, with our upper body now. So we can open the elbows out to the side. Before we go, let's just find a little swimming motion. So we're just starting to warm up the spine a little bit, but with our hands towards the shoulders, we keep the spine safe. We don't overextend right off the bat. Beautiful. It's like we're swimming in that lovely lake, although the lake is cold, I will confirm. Let's come back to center. Good. We can keep our hands here and our elbows out to the side, and we're going to find a little twist from left to right this time. So just moving one side and then the other. Once again, noticing with our hands on our shoulders, there's a bit of a moment where we can't go any further, and that's the place I would like you to stop. So just recognizing our own limits here. This is kind of a small movement in that way. We're going to add a little bit of breath to this. So inhaling strongly, energetically, exhaling with energy to the other side. Good. Inhale, energetic. Exhale, energetic. A little faster maybe. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. And then bring it back to center. Thank you so much. Could we mute everybody if we don't mind? Thank you so much. Big roll of the shoulders, finding your mountain pose. Wonderful work, fantastic. With our hands on our knees, finding a little bit of a cat and cow. So rolling, drawing the shoulders back, lifting through the heart, lifting through the chin. Inhale here. And then exhale to round the shoulders forward. Good. Let's do that 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, shoulder blades move together. We lift. Exhale, shoulder blades apart. We tuck. One more time. Inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat. Nicely done. Coming back to center, roll the shoulders. We are really in the beach mood today and this week. So I'm going to invite you to imagine that there's a beach ball in front of you. You're going to lean forward to pick it up. Now this will require a little bit of reaching forward off the back of our chair. So that's okay if we're hinging forward slightly. And then we can go ahead and lift that beach ball up overhead. Beautiful work. Let's put it back down. Just kidding. We're not going to need it, right? Well, actually, no. Let's lift. Good work, everyone. I really can't fool anybody. We're going to do that one more time, lifting our beach balls up over our head, nice and tall, and then exhale to place it back down. Lifting one more time, but this time we'll bring it down to the outside of the right leg. So we twist to the outside of the right leg. Bring in the beach ball there. Nicely done. Inhale to lift up. Exhaling to bring it to the outside of the left leg. Well done. Inhale, lift. Exhale to the outside of the right thigh. Beautiful. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale the outside of the left leg. Now I wonder, even though we're virtual, we're online together, if we can give that ball a little toss into your screen and catch somebody else's ball coming at you. Give it a toss and then catch someone else's invisible ball. Beautiful. Nice big push of the ball in front of you and catch it. Let's do that one more time. Big push out and bring it back. Well done, everyone. We can let that go. We're going to give the arms a little shake because I'm sure your arms and shoulders are a little warm now, as are mine. So let's shake out some of that tension, those amino acids that build up, making the muscles feel a little sore. Good. And then this is a wonderful practice also for getting rid of that kind of negative tension that we might be experiencing that causes anxiety and such. So let's give the arms a big shake, one side and the other. We're going to bring that shake all the way up over our head. And we remember this is like our marching band move. We're going to clap at the top on the count of 3, 2, 1. One clap. Beautifully done. Bring those hands down to our hearts. Now, some of us I saw didn't quite make the clap. We're going to give it one more try. We always need to just have our rehearsal and then we'll get into our real one. Here we go. This is the real one. Here we go. Shaking arms to the side, bringing our arms up overhead. And at the top, we're going to give a big clap on the count of 3, 2, 1. Beautifully done, everyone. Hands float down to your heart. We can hold here for a breath with our hands at our heart. We can place one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly, up to you. But just pause and check in with yourself for a moment. How are you feeling today? How is the emotional body? How is the physical body? What are the thoughts doing today? So our yoga practice is here always to help us with all of those facets of our life and so much more. But one thing I find particularly useful is yoga helping us to be able to control and manage our thoughts a little bit better so that we can especially be prepared for those stressful moments in life. Could I ask that everyone gets muted? I'm going to do it, actually. Thank you so much. There we go. Thanks so much, Zena. Beautiful. Amazing. So a nice big breath in through the nose. Exhale to let it go. Fantastic. Beautiful. So we're going to move through a couple rounds of sun salutations this morning. And so this next part of the practice moves a little bit more continuously. And so I say that to remind you that if you need to take breaks, please take breaks whenever you need them and listen to your body. If something that I'm suggesting doesn't feel quite right the way I'm showing it, you are more than welcome, encouraged, in fact, to change it or modify it or skip it altogether. So this part we may like to move forward in our chairs so that we've got a little bit more room through the low body. We'll be adding a bit more low body into this. So feet are nice and flat on the floor. Toes can wiggle a little bit. Just reconnecting, regrounding, and recentering ourselves. Nice big full breath in. Wonderful. We're reaching forward again for those imaginary beach balls, and then we can lift them up over our head with a breath in. As we exhale, let's drop our elbows to cactus arms right at our sides. Lovely. Good. Rotate the shoulders down and then push your hands towards the earth. So like we're pushing resistance down. Good. Inhale, reach the arms forward, hold one wrist or just give a gentle stretch forward till the back starts to round slightly. We can stay here for a breath if it feels good. Wonderful. And then let's come on up with an inhale, tall through the spine, big wiggling of the fingers. And then let our hands float down to our knees. Keep the elbows tucked in nice and close to the body. Roll the shoulders back. And then we're going to come forward, a little hip hinge forward into our push-up position. So pushing your palms into your thighs, push yourself all the way back up. We'll do that 2 more times. Tipping forward, breathing in. Exhale to push up all the way to extension. And 1 more. Inhale forward. Exhale to extend up. Nice and long. Beautiful. Fantastic. Coming into forward fold now. Either dropping chin to our chest, if we like to be a little more upright, or you can come right down to the elbows, holding on to your forearms. And then maybe letting the head hang a little heavily here. Maybe a little sway side to side. Forward and back. Beautiful. Nice big full breaths here. Focusing once again on that long exhale. Sometimes a sighing breath feels good in these moments. Wonderful. On your next exhalation, we'll bring the hands back to our knees and slowly unravel and unwind ourselves back up to mountain pose. And then inhale to reach the arms up any amount. Palms can come together. And then exhale to send the hands back down to our heart center. Fantastic, everyone. We'll do that 1 more time, 1 more round. Reach for those beach balls. Big lift all the way up as we inhale, and then exhale, drop elbows to cactus arms. Good. Rotating the shoulders down, pushing towards the earth. Feel the lengthening in the sides of your neck. And then reach the arms forward. We'll hold 1 wrist and gently pull forward, really looking for a stretch and arching through the back. So however feels best to get there. Good. Big breath in. Exhaling. And then we'll sit up nice and tall and give our fingers a nice big wiggle. Wonderful. Letting them float down to our knees. Fantastic. This time, instead of leaning forward, we're just lifting the arms up, almost like the backs of our wrists are being pulled by a string. And then letting the hands float down like we're painting the wall in front of us. Adding in the breath, rather following the breath with our hands. Inhaling up. Exhaling, painting the wall down. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale. All the way down. Beautiful. We're going to come into our forward fold once again. So either dropping the chin to chest, or we can come down to the elbows straight away. Give your head a little shake side to side. A little nod forward and back, and then take a nice big breath. Exhale and send it all the way down through the feet. Beautiful. Good. And As we inhale next, let's inhale up. Good. Feeling the spine unwind. Beautiful. And then we'll reach the arms all the way up overhead. Palms come together, exhaling to send them down to our heart. Beautiful, everyone. Wonderful. Well done. Let's pause for a beat. Hands can be resting at your heart or once again, resting right on top of your heart. Wonderful. I'm sure you can hear the cicadas around me. They are very loud this time of year. But this is the time of year for them. When I hear them, it makes me think it's time the summer is coming to an end. And some of us can find that challenging. So we maybe, as we move into this next transition of the next month and the next season, just be aware of what's going on or how you might feel about that. Some of us are ready to go for the next season. Beautiful. We're going to come into a bit of a low body sequence now. And I'm just going to double check that everyone can see I'm going to move that down just a touch so we can make sure we can see my feet and my legs. I think we can though. So I'm going to invite us to find a wide leg position for the legs now. If we're seated in a wheelchair and the legs, we don't have much room to move, we can just move the toes. So the toes can move out and back in, one or both sides of the feet, until we've got that wide leg position. Good. Just a moment too. I'm actually going to skip forward in the music because hold on a moment, everyone. Thank you. It was almost finished, but not quite fast enough for my liking. There we go. We're going to start to slow things down a little bit now. So it makes sense for the music to slow down a little bit. So once again, finding that wide leg position. So either just turning the toes out to the corners, or if we've got a little more room to move, we can tick-tock the feet out a little further. Let's do that in a couple of times and out a couple of times. Starting to warm up through the hips. Good. Tick-tocking the feet or toes in and then back out. And then we'll stay out on our final time, our final round, finding that wide leg position with the low body. So we're going to move through a goddess pose, little small flow. And goddess pose is a beautiful pose representing strength, grace, beauty, courage. And so it's a lovely energy for us to bring into any challenging moments that we might be facing. So feet flat on the floor, toes and knees are pointing out. And then we'll bring our hands into cactus arms. Our arms come up, elbows bent. Lovely. From here, everything can lift. So we can reach the fingertips up. Maybe they touch. And then maybe we even lift the heels up and come up on our tiptoes. And a final move is we might lift our eyes up towards the ceiling or the sky. Take a big breath in. And then exhale to lower everything down. Heels and elbows, eyes. Good. Let's do that again with the breath. Inhaling to lift the fingertips up, lift the heels up. Inhale, exhale to lower. Sorry, I've got black flies kind of buzzing around me. Big breath in, lifting up, lifting heels, lifting eyes. And then exhale, lowering everything back down. Good. One more time. Big lift. Everything up nice and strong, facing what comes. Exhale, lowering down. We're going to hold here, holding the arms in our cactus position. And from here, we want to create some tension in the body. So we're going to get practice experiencing tense and release this way. So really reaching through the fingertips, big starfish fingers, and then pressing our feet down into the floor, tensing through the thigh muscles, through the elbows, through the shoulders and the arms, the back of the body. Good. Holding that tension in the body for 3, 2, One, and then find that gentle release. Let everything go. Arms can fall down to your sides. Sometimes there's almost like a sense of wanting to just kind of collapse in on yourself. And that's okay. You can let that happen. Let's find, though, a big roll of the shoulders back to our mountain pose. Feeling that centering up the spine. Our breath. Beautiful. And then coming into a little warrior pose sequence here. I'll give you the option to leave your feet where they are, if that feels comfortable. If you need to give your hips a little break, you're welcome to just knock the knees a little bit. And then finding our way into that warrior 2 position of the legs, if we so choose. Either keeping the feet where they are, or take that right foot and start to slide it out in front of you a little bit more, turning the toes in. And then we might naturally just shift our weight to our left side slightly. Beautiful. Pressing down through 4 corners of both feet as equally as we can. And then really sending that grounding energy from the waist down. We'll send the other energy from the waist up as we reach our arms into a T shape, turning to look over the left fingertips. The shoulders are feeling a little bit of too much of a strain, we can always bend the elbows and just shorten the lever a little bit. Good. Softening. Focusing our gaze over our fingers or on something unmoving in front of you, and just find your breath, settling your attention here. Summoning that strength from within. Big breath in and out. One more big breath here. And then we'll let the right hands float down to that right leg. So that's the same side as our extended leg. Let the left palm turn up facing you. And then we can reach our left fingertips up, overhead, and then maybe find a small back bend for our peaceful warrior. Beautiful. Really allowing the left ribs and lung to expand and let in a little bit more breath. One more breath for yourself. And then we exhale and we windmill the arms, swapping top for bottom and coming to rest on the left elbow. Good. So we're leaning over to the left side. The right elbow can stay bent. The top arm can stay bent, or we might find a little bit of a reach through the right fingertips for our extended side angle pose. As for your gaze, finding a comfortable position for your neck works well. We can either look straight ahead, we can look up towards the hand, we might even prefer to look down towards the floor. Just remembering that where your intention goes, energy flows, as the saying goes. So where we look and send our attention and awareness, that's sort of the direction of the energy that we're producing here. Big breath in. And then exhale, release the pose, come back to our warrior 2 arms. One lift of the arms with the breath. And then exhale, floating the hands down to the legs and slide that long leg in. Well done, everyone. That was a big warrior sequence. So well done for all that you just did. Give your knees a windshield wiper swipe, maybe just knocking them together. And we can pause here for a moment, hands resting on our knees. Start by drawing shoulder blades back, and we'll just reset through the spine again, cat and cow. Inhaling to lift. Exhale to round the shoulders forward, tucking the chin. Inhale, shoulder blades together. Exhaling, shoulder blades apart. Big inhale for cow pose. And exhaling into cat. Good. Coming back to mountain pose. Just pause for a moment and notice any sensations currently in your field of awareness, maybe noticing temperature on the skin, noticing the sounds around you, any tastes in the mouth. Beautiful. And then we'll find our way back to our wide leg position. Good. Tick-tocking the toes out to our sides. And then if we want to stay as we are with both feet flat on the floor, that's an option. And we could also extend the left leg out a little bit in front of us, turning the toes inward slightly, and then noticing if that naturally kind of causes you to shift your weight to the right side. Good. Pressing down again through all four corners on both feet, grounding from the waist down, and then we'll lift up from the waist up as we reach our arms into that T shape or with that little soft bend to the elbow. Turning our gaze towards the right fingers. Maybe give your fingers on that right hand a little wiggle, or whatever hand you happen to be looking at, just to catch your attention. Beautiful. Nice big full breath in. I think more important than how we look in this pose is how we feel. And the pose, the energy of the pose, of the Warrior Two pose, is all about courage, is all about the duality even of energies, the grounding and lifting at the same time. Strength, inner strength. One more big breath here. And then as we exhale, let the left hands float down to that left leg, flipping the right palm up, bringing that palm closer to the face, and then we can send the fingertips up towards the sky, perhaps finding a little back bend. So we might send the fingertips behind us slightly. Focusing your gaze on any place that feels natural and comfortable. Thinking about lifting a little bit more up and out of the hips so that we're not compacting the spine. And we'll take one more breath here in our peaceful, exalted warrior. Good. Swapping the arms, windmilling them, top for bottom. Leaning over to the right knee. Left elbow can stay bent, or we can extend the arm a little bit longer. Find your breath. Lovely, everyone. Let's take one more breath here. And then big exhale as we lift back to Warrior Two, reaching out, looking over the right fingertips, lifting the arms up with our breath, and exhaling, hands back to our knees. Beautifully done. Making our way back to center. Feet can come back to the floor. And then giving your knees a little sway side to side. We'll find one last little reset of the spine, this time bringing the arms out into our cactus arms, but a wide cactus arm. So we lift through the heart, we arch through the spine, and then we're going to bring it in for a big hug. So you can wrap one arm on top, one arm on the bottom, and give yourself a big squeeze. Good. Feeling the spine rounding, but just feeling that love and comfort from yourself. Sometimes we need a hug and no one's around to ask, or there's other feelings there. So just remembering that you have this power to give yourself the love and support that you need at any given moment. Good. We're going to do that again. Big inhale, reach the arms out to the side. Lift through the heart. And then as we exhale, switch the arm that comes on top. So big hug, but different arm on top this time. Little rock, maybe side to side, rounding through the spine. One more breath as we open up for cactus arms. And then exhale, any arm on top, maybe the original one. Good. Find your hug, rounding through the spine. Good. Come on back up to center, bringing hands to our heart. Good. We'll interlace the fingers, turning the fingers towards us, palms face out as we push the palms away. Big stretch through the fingertips, through the wrists and palms. Inhale to lift any amount, and then exhale, release the arms and let those wrists roll all the way around you. Wonderful. Making your way into our camel pose. So reaching our hands either beside us or slightly behind us. And then finding that little squeeze of the shoulder blades together, elbows moving towards one another. Big lift for our camel pose. Nicely done, everyone. One more big full breath here. And then we'll exhale, releasing the arms, bringing the hands back together. Big sun breath, Surya Nama Pranayama as we inhale, circling the arms all the way up. Palms come together, hands float down to our heart. We will do that sequence one more time and move right into our relaxation. So interlacing the fingers, turning the palms out, big press out and away. That's it. Inhale to lift any amount that feels good. And then exhale to roll the wrists all the way down, float them down. Coming in to our camel pose. We can reach the hands beside us or behind us. And I should mention that we might even like to put them into those imaginary jean pockets, kind of right at the tops of our glutes. Sometimes that acts as well as a nice support. Wherever you are, thinking about drawing the shoulder blades together, drawing the elbows together. Energetically, of course, the elbows are not actually touching in this pose. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale, hold the pose, but let the breath go fully. Last one, big breath in. And then exhale, release the arms back to our Anjali Mudra, which is hands together in prayer. And we'll take that one big sun breath up and around with our inhale. Exhaling, hands to our hearts, where we will recline as much as possible now. So coming all the way back into your chair, really letting yourself settle in as deeply and comfortably as possible. And we'll just move here now through a few moments of Shavasana, our final relaxation. So as you start to allow yourself to get a little more settled, you may like to close the eyes, or you can just keep them soft. And then I'll invite you here to start watching the breath again. And then just noticing that as we are watching the breath or noticing what we are doing, can start to bring that awareness, kind of pulling back a little bit, that there is a part of us that does, and there is a part of us that notices. And so being able to recognize or become aware of that part of us that is the watcher, the part of us that is not our thoughts, that is not our labels, that is not our name. That's that true essence of who we are. That that essence of love and peace and just purity. Remembering that you are already whole, just as you are. Reminding yourself of what you are capable of as we just moved through a little bit more physically challenging practice. We're all able to do whatever we can do. And sometimes that's the perfect amount, just enough. Allowing yourself to settle in a little bit more. Bringing your attention into the crown of your head. And let that feeling of peace and ease wash over you like warm honey or warm water or a warm blanket, moving down the sides of the neck, the shoulders, down the arms, the wrists and hands, down through the chest, through the ribs, the back body. Just relax. Down through the belly, through the hips, down the legs, ankles, feet. Just relax. Beginning to bring your attention now back to your breath, back to your senses. Noticing once again sounds, the sensations on the skin, perhaps any aromas or smells in the room. And then starting to bring gentle movement back to the body through the hands and the feet, slowly spreading to the other parts of the body. When you're ready, bringing yourself all the way back to your seat. And we'll bring hands together at our heart. Pausing for one final moment of gratitude together by rubbing palms, finding warmth and energy there once again. And then let's go ahead and place our palms over our eyes, pausing to say thank you to our Mother Earth for always sustaining and nourishing us. To say thank you to our community of family and friends, as well as the ancestors and teachers that came before us. And finally, to say thank you to ourselves for showing ourselves what we were capable of today and for creating that sacred space for our practice. And finally, bringing hands back together at your heart, I bow to each of you in gratitude Thank you so much for allowing me to share this practice of yoga with you. And thank you for sharing with me your time and your energy and breath. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again very soon.